What's up, y'all? My name is Sharoy. Thank you for clicking on my video, and boy do I have a story time for you guys today. So to give you a little bit of context, when I first moved to New York, I want to say that I was about a month in and I had my first job up here. I had to take 3 trains to work. I have no idea how I did it. It was so stressful, but hey, I did it. Now, when I'm on my commute, it's already stressful. I just want to get to where I'm going or go home, whatever. I really don't want to be bothered. I usually have headphones in. I mind my business. I don't try to do too much socializing, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is on the same type time. So one particular evening, this gentleman approached me. I want to say he was probably in his mid-20s. He didn't look older than 30, but I don't know. So he approaches me and he's like, "Hey, I noticed that we take the same route. I saw you this morning." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, hi." I'm a pretty friendly person. I don't like to be rude to people. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. I practice kindness as much as possible. So I'm engaging him in conversation, listening to what he has to say. And then he starts talking to me about like his company that he works for or something like that. By how he was talking about his company, I feel like he was trying to get me to join an MLM. So I kind of wasn't really that interested, but I was still hearing him out what he had to say. But he wouldn't really give me any details. Like I would ask him questions like, "Okay, so what do you guys do? What product do you offer?" And he was kind of like giving me these vague, shady answers. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's almost my stop anyways. So I'm half listening, just ready to get off. Boom. And that was our first interaction. Now I saw him again, if not the next morning, then I saw him again like a couple days later in the morning. He's like, "Hey," he remembered my name. So he's like, "Hey, Sharoy." And then he just was making small talk. And in the morning times I'd be stressed out, but I don't know what it is about me. I just am not a rude person. So I'm not gonna tell him like, "Leave me alone, stop talking to me. I don't want to be bothered right now." So I'm like kind of engaging him in conversation, but nothing more than just like, "Oh, cool. Nice. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, yeah." So I'm just listening to him talk and stuff like that. He's asking me questions. He's telling me about like where he's from and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is innocent. And I realized I guess we have the same stop. And if you ever been on the subway, it gets pretty crowded. So it's kind of awkward like trying to hold a conversation with someone while you're like exiting the platform. So I would be like walking up the stairs and I'd be like in front of him and he's like trying to keep up and talking to me, or like he wanted to stop and say bye, and there's like people with annoyed looks like trying to scoot past us and whatnot, like, "What are you doing standing there?" So I try to keep interactions minimum. So this happened for a few days, and then one day in particular he asked for my number again. I'm a nice person, a little too nice sometimes, obviously. So I gave him my number because like, why not? I mean, the worst I could do is block him or ignore him, whatever. Ladies, some of you guys may be able to relate. Sometimes we give out our number even though we have no intentions of talking to this person, just to get them out of our face or just not to piss them off. So I gave him my number and he would text me. I think I responded to him one time because he texted me. He's like, "Hey, have a great day. Hey, what are your plans for 4th of July?" And then I told him, I responded and said that. And after that, he would just like text me and text me and text me and text me with no response. You know how like men be having conversations with themselves in your DMs or in your messages? I have no idea what be going through their head. Like, you obviously see I'm not texting you back. Why? What would possess you to keep talking to me and having a conversation with yourself? So at this point, I'm a little annoyed because he keeps texting me. So after being stuck on, a few train rides with him and him talking my ear off and me like visibly showing no interest in the conversation, but him not accepting the social cues that I don't want to talk to him, I started doing things to avoid seeing him. Like sometimes I would like leave like way early, or I would be a little later because I feel like we had the same schedule. So I was just trying to get early so that I wouldn't bump into him on the platform, because I wouldn't see him on the first train. It would be the second train. Waiting for that second train, that's when I would bump into him. So I would try to avoid him, and then I wasn't texting him back. I know at one point when he caught me, he had asked me to get Thai food, and I was just like, "Oh, maybe, I don't know, I'll let you know, we'll see, I don't know, I'm busy," just kind of like brush him off. But I wish he would just just take the hint, because I don't want to be a jerk and just like, no, ew, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you, bye. That's rude. You know, I wasn't raised like that. I'm not rude to people. So I just kind of like brushed it off, and I was like avoiding him after that because that was the last conversation we had before I started trying to avoid him. So one day, one fateful morning, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I see him. I have my headphones in, I'm walking, minding my business, and then I see him like in the corner of my eyes. So I'm like, hi, but I keep walking, you know, like I just waved to him and just kept walking. So he was like in the beginning of the platform. So he's like right here waiting for the train. I walk all the way to the end of the platform, and when I turn around to stop and wait for the train, here he is approaching me. So at this point, I still have my headphones in and I was listening to music. And so he approaches me and tries to talk to me, and I'm just like, I'm listening to something, sorry. And he's like, what are you listening to? Music? I didn't realize that it was loud enough for him to hear it. I was trying to make it seem like though I'm on a call or like I'm listening to a podcast or doing something important so that he wouldn't interrupt me. But I was listening to music and he heard it. So he proceeded to keep talking to me. And so I annoyingly take my headphone out. I'm like, hi, how are you doing? What's up? Like, what do you want? And he's just like, I've texted you. Didn't you see my messages? I'm like, oh, you texted me? I'm like trying to play dumb. I'm like, oh, you texted me? I'm so sorry. Like, I rarely check my phone. I probably didn't even get it. I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. He's like, really? You didn't get it? Open your phone right now. Let me see if you got my messages. And at this point, all that kindness and being nice, all that goes out the window because now I'm annoyed. What? You want to see my phone that you do not pay the bill on? Oh, you got me messed up. So I'm like, no, I'm not about to show you my phone. He like got in my phone like he was about to like take it from me. I'm like, sir, please. Then he has the audacity to say, don't you think if somebody texts you, you should answer? Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? If somebody texted me, I'm obligated to respond. Why? Let me see the receipt of the bill that you paid for my phone bill this month. I'm sorry. Let me see the receipt of the phone that you bought for me. Who are you to tell me that I need to be answering my phone? Who are you to tell me what I need to be doing with my phone? So I just laugh it off. I'm like, whatever. So he's just like, yeah, I've been texting you. I just think it's kind of rude that you didn't respond to me. You know, you saw my messages. And he's just like pressing me. And I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. But me, I don't take things seriously. I don't get angry like that. So I'm just sitting there like laughing him off, and he's like angry, and I'm just like, anywho, so the train comes, we get on the train, and I sit down and he sits next to me, and he's like, yeah, I want to take you out, I want to take you to get some food or something like that. And then he asked me, do I smoke? And I'm like, no. And he was like, oh, well, I do. Maybe one of these days I can come to your place or you can come to my place and we can smoke before work. And I'm like, I just told you I don't smoke. I was like, yeah, I don't really do that. He's like, well, you do sometimes, right? And I'm just like, not really. He's like, well, if you want to, then I can stop by maybe like before work, since we have the same schedule. We can meet up in the mornings. What part of the city do you stay in? Like, where's your neighborhood? And I'm like, where do you stay? Because like at this point, I just don't even know what's going on, and I don't want to be like rude and like maybe he like tries to like throw me on the tracks or kill me or something like that. It's sad that us women have to go through stuff like this. I'm laughing, but it's kind of scary, and it's kind of not okay. Well, it's very much not okay. So I'm just like brushing him off or whatever, not really engaging in the conversation. And then the stop comes, and then we get off the train, and then he says goodbye, and then all day I was just like mustering up the courage to like tell this man to leave me alone. So I finally just sent him a text message, and I don't remember what exactly I said word for word, but I will send a screenshot because I actually still have the messages. So I was like, hey, I'm not really interested, and I don't like to be bothered in the morning on my morning commute. And he's like, oh, okay, I just wanted to get to know you, but that's fine, thanks for letting me know. And that was the last time I saw him. I'm not looking for nobody in the morning, so maybe he saw me and he decided to leave me alone, or maybe he, stopped trying to make our schedules collide and run into each other on this particular plane. But I mean, I said plane, train, but I never saw him after that again. And, you know, now that I think about it, he was pretty aggressive, and that was actually really weird and uncomfortable for me. So, I know better. And because I was talking to one of my guy friends after that, and he told me, he was like, listen, I'm gonna put you on game. You need to not let the man have so much control over the situation. If a guy asks you for your number, you say, no, give me your number. That way he doesn't have your number, but you have his number, so you have control over the situation, whether you communicate with him or not. Because 9 times out of 10, when a guy asks you for your number, it's usually like maybe at nighttime after a bar or a club or a party or something like that, or maybe randomly in the daytime he sees you, and chances are you won't run into him again. Now with this situation, we had the same route, so it wouldn't be no like, oh, he gives me his number, I give him my number, and then I never talk to him or see him again. I don't have to worry about it. So I kind of had to address the situation and shut that down immediately, because just by how he was coming at me crazy, I could tell that maybe he was a little thrown off, or maybe, I don't know, something wrong with him, or maybe he was just too bold and he just had the audacity. See, this is why like being nice sometimes bites you in the butt, because people will take your kindness for weakness and think that they can like manipulate you or have control. Especially for women, men can take kindness as an invitation, or they can take kindness as you're flirting with them or you're interested. And my friend also told me that in New York, the women are more aggressive, so they're gonna be like, ew, bye Dusty, like please. So that's what it takes to like get a rejection across. And even then, sometimes you're like, stop playing with me, you know you playing, you know you want me, whatever. And it's like, how can I just be a nice person and just be polite but not invite unwanted attention? Like, man, you guys really have to do better. I'm not saying this is all men, but if a woman is acting uncomfortable, or she is obviously not trying to engage in conversation with you, do not use that as an invitation to slide your way in there and keep talking, okay? Because I don't want to have to be rude and cuss everybody out just to leave me alone. I don't think that's necessary. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think I should have been more assertive from the jump, or do you guys think women have the right to be polite and not be nasty in order to get a point across? So yeah guys, that's all I have for y'all. That's my little story time. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.